It's Saturday afternoon in central Tel Aviv, and preparations have begun for another night of so-called democracy demonstrations. Yaniv Segal and his troupe, the Pink Front, will be leading tonight's march.
The fear is, we are afraid of the unknown. This is the most frightening thing. In the government there are ultra-Orthodox, extreme right people that I'm being submitted to their, whims and their wills.
Groups like the Pink Front have been taking to the streets nearly every weekend for months, opposing a government they say is hungry for unchecked power.
You can hear these people screaming, "Democratia, democratia means democracy, democracy." That's why tens of thousands of people come out here every week. They say democracy is what's at stake.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is adamant he has a mandate to pass the reforms and hopes key elements of the bill will become law next month.
הקבוצה הקיצונית והמסוכנת שמובילה את כל המעשים האלה פשוט רוצה לשרוף את המועדון.
The judicial reforms would give the ruling government power over selecting Supreme Court appointments, a process that's currently dominated by sitting judges. It'll also allow the Israeli parliament to overturn Supreme Court decisions with a simple majority of 61 votes in the 120-seat Knesset.
What's the energy like here when you're walking through? What does it do to you?
I think you cannot express it. It's the strength, is the power that you get from the people.
Shikma Bresler is one of the founders of this protest movement. She's a physicist, mother of 5, and to many people here, an inspiration.
Our new elected government tries to take the power of the democratic regime, trying to go underneath its foundation and destroy it from the inside to the outside.
Since mobilising, the movement has captured hearts and minds all across Israel, with rallies now held in more than 100 locations.
It goes down to the deepest root of where we want to take this country from here on.
I think people have been given a mistaken impression of what is in the law. Usually people listen to slogans, and unfortunately the opposition has adopted an extremely polarizing, sky is falling slogan of the end of democracy.
Professor Eugene Kontorovich is from a right-wing think tank that drafted the policy papers for the judicial changes. He says the Supreme Court is stacked with left-leaning justices and that it has too much power over Israeli society.
Currently, there is no check on the Supreme Court. And everyone understands that there's a need for checks and balances. And the Supreme Court is currently the only institution in Israel with no checks, but yet power over every single issue of public life.
Some protesters fear judicial overhaul will give extremist members of Israel's most right-wing government ever the ability to create laws targeting minorities, women and Palestinians with no recourse. Senior members of Israel's business, academic, legal and even military communities have publicly condemned the judicial plan. And Israel's President, Isaac Herzog, is warning the country is on the verge of societal and constitutional collapse.
את העם שלנו נקרא לי מול העיניים. מה שקורה כאן הוא אסון. הוא שגוי. הוא דורסני, הוא מערער את יסודותינו הדמוקרטיים.
The The instability has already caused the value of the Israeli shekel to slide, and business leaders warn of an economic crash if foreign investors no longer want to work with Israel.
I have quite a lot of concerns. I think that eventually this will impact significantly our business.
Einat Gez runs the multi-billion-dollar Israeli tech company Papaya Global. She's just withdrawn nearly $500 million out of Israel in protest of the planned judicial overhaul.
I mean, I need to assure that I don't bring any risk to the business, that I'm eventually safeguarding my investors' funds. And honestly, I think that we are currently getting into a place where Israel is becoming a place that is not secured.
When the opposition mobilizes people to conduct massive demonstrations, says it's the end of democracy, it's not surprising that that foreign investors will get worried. So in a sense, they're trying to create a crisis, which then becomes the pretext for not proceeding with the reforms.
We know the truth. We are done being polite, done being patient. This country it must remain democratic.